Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So after waiting for more than a year, we are finally talking about Miller v. Bonta in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals once again. Now, Miller was placed on hold so long ago, there's probably people out there who don't even know what Miller is. But Miller is an extremely important case that challenges California's ban on so-called assault weapons. As a matter of fact, this case has been around for quite some time, and back in, I believe it was October of 2023, Judge Roger T. Benitez, the same judge that gave California Freedom Week, found that California's ban was in fact unconstitutional. It then went up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Ninth Circuit decided that they were going to place this case on hold back in January of 2024, pending the outcome of Duncan. Now, Duncan took forever to get a decision, but we finally got that decision recently. That means it's time to move forward with Miller, and you guys will not believe the new arguments that California has for upholding the ban. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. Now, like I said in the beginning, this case has been going on for quite some time. As a matter of fact, the first time I heard about Miller was back in 2015. I believe I made a video about it at the time. So it's been going on for about 10 years. And that is a result of the Ninth Circuit using stall and delay tactics to push off any final resolution for as long as possible. Because while Judge Benitez, the federal district court judge, did place an injunction against enforcement of that ban, a stay was placed against that injunction, allowing the law to remain in effect until final resolution. So again, this is a case that's been going on for quite some time, and the Ninth Circuit has done everything in their power to make sure that California can enforce it for as long as possible. Now, with that being said, and after waiting for nearly a decade, after waiting for a decision in Duncan and finally getting that decision, we can now start filing briefs back up at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And just yesterday, both parties, the appellants and the appellees, did just that. And let me tell you, California leans heavily on the court's recent Duncan decision. Now, even though Duncan just deals with magazines, the court said in that case that magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds are not necessary to the overall function of the firearm and therefore are considered accessories. Accessories are not protected by the Second Amendment, is what they say, and so they're allowing California to ban them. Well, California's so-called assault weapons ban kind of works in a similar way. They ban features in California. It works a little bit different than some other states that ban actions and things like that. California bans the features. And so they're saying, since you can operate this without any features on it at all, without a telescoping stock or without a handguard, you can operate it without a grip even, you can do all these things, then California's ban should be upheld because it's just simply banning accessories. You guys got to see this. Let's go ahead and take a look at California's response here. Okay, so here's a look at California's brief to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. You can see that Miller is the appellee and California, the DOJ, and Rob Bonta, they're going to be the appellants. Now, they start off here in the introduction by saying, in Duncan v. Bonta, the court upheld California's restrictions on LCMs, codified in California Penal Code Section 32310, at both steps of framework announced in Bruin. At the first step, the court upheld that LCMs are neither arms covered by the plain text of the Second Amendment, nor protected by the corollary right to possess accessories that are necessary for the operation of a protected weapon. These optional accessories are not protected even though they undoubtedly provide benefit. Now, they go on to say the challenged component-based definitions of an assault weapon regulate unprotected accessories. The regulated components are like large capacity magazines and other quote-unquote optional accessories such as high-powered scope for a rifle, a sling, or silencer, which may be attached to a firearm without necessarily falling within the scope of the text of the Second Amendment. Again, they're referring to Duncan. As in Duncan, the record reflects that the listed components are not necessary to operate a firearm. Rather, they can be easily removed and replaced, resulting in a featureless weapon that can be lawfully sold, possessed, and used. So you can see right there that California relies heavily on Duncan in this case. And basically what they're telling people in California is that the only thing that they consider protected by the Second Amendment are going to be the things that are necessary to its overall function. Basically, when it's completely bare-boned, if you take everything off of it, but it'll still work, then that's the only thing that's actually protected. The moment you were to add any accessory whatsoever, Well, that's just an accessory. California can ban it because if you didn't put it on, it would still work. And so California is just really leaning heavily on this accessory-based ban. Now, I think we all know where the Ninth Circuit is going to go with this one. They're going to do whatever they can to side with the state of California. So using Duncan, they're going to say it's just an accessory ban and you can use it without these accessories. So it doesn't have an effect on the overall arm itself, and that's going to be the end of it. This is another case that's going to be sent up to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court does nothing in Snope or Ocean State or Duncan, well, this could lead to some more problems in the state of California because, as you heard, they consider things like high-powered scopes and slings and all those things to be accessories, which means California can simply ban them. Even the grip panels, you know, if it's not necessary, you can still hold it without the grip panels. Technically, they could ban those as well. So even though we know where the Ninth Circuit is going with this, we need the Supreme Court to step in and Snope in order to stop it, because this stuff is getting out of control. It's out of hand. And after that decision in Duncan, it basically opened the door for California to ban just about everything. So I wanted to make you guys aware of that. Again, these briefs were just filed yesterday. The FPC filed their brief as well, and they had incredible arguments that were in there. They always do a good job. As a matter of fact, I believe the FPC is just one of the best, hands down. So there is a fight to be had here, but again, it's the Ninth Circuit. We all know which way the Ninth Circuit leans. So I wanted to make you guys aware of that. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and you guys have a great day.